Kelly Oubre Jr. had been a member of the Phoenix Suns for barely a week, yet there he was, walking through the doors of the Wizards' practice facility on Friday afternoon. Oubre and the Suns are set to play the Wizards on Saturday night in Washington, offering a quick reunion between former allies following last weekend's trade between the teams. Oubre made his way across the practice court with a pair of purple shoes in his hand and a smile on his face, saying hello to Wizards staffers and media members. For one day, he was back in the place he spent the first 3.5 years of his NBA career, a city he called home from ages 19 to 23, coming back so soon after the trade has helped all of it settle in. He had a sentimental moment on Thursday, soon after the Suns had checked into their hotel. Oubre dropped off his stuff and went back to his DC apartment. "I was watching TV and it was like, man, I don't live here anymore," he said. As Oubre looks back on his time in Washington, it's not just basketball that comes to mind. Life. I really grew here. I really grew as a person mentally, physically and spiritually, he said. Through his 4 seasons in DC, Oubre became very popular among Wizards fans. He has a dynamic personality on and off the court and delivered many colorful quotes over the years. On the court, he developed from a rookie who didn't consistently play to the team's 6th man. Whether his shots were falling or his mind was in the right place defensively, he always played with energy and flair. That's what Oubre hopes Wizards fans remember most. That I gave everybody my all, man. I came in every night, no matter if I was playing or not, and I gave them my all. I did it for the city, I did it for the team, and that's just who I am, he said. Getting sent to Phoenix, Oubre said, was reminiscent of draft night in 2015 when the Wizards traded up to acquire him. He was left in limbo, not knowing where he would play next. It all played out on Friday night as the Wizards were in Brooklyn, having just lost to the Nets. Initial discussions involved 3 teams, and Oubre was originally supposed to go to Memphis. The first trade fell through, then negotiations restarted and he got shipped to Phoenix. After he knew where he was going, Oubre looked up the Suns' schedule and noticed it wasn't long until they played the Wizards. On Friday, when he met with Wizards reporters, he knew the exact date they would play again this season, on March 27. The first one will probably be strange for Oubre, he admits, but he is looking forward to it. I'm pretty even-keeled right now. I think Saturday might be a different story because, going to Capital One, I've never played there as a visitor, he said. It should be nothing but love. I love Wizards fans, and I appreciate their support. More Wizards news. Washington, Ron Baker's 2 immediate goals upon arriving in town involve survival. The ex-Knick hopes the Wizards stars find his tenacious playing approach appealing. Even more pressing, he needs some clothes. The Knicks waived the 6'4" guard December 13 during a road trip. The native Kansan and former Wichita State star headed back to New York. Bags needed to pack, material items gathered. Uncertain of his playing future, Baker shipped his clothes, shoes and car to Wichita. All the items arrived safely Thursday. Baker didn't make the trip. Now I'm here, he said following his first practice with his new team. In between, the Wizards seeking backcourt depth following Saturday's trade that shipped guard Austin Rivers to Phoenix, reached out. That's great news. If only Baker knew in advance before sending his goods back home. I'd only have one coat and pair of Nike shoes, Baker explained. Hopefully that snow stays away for a while until I get to that department store, I guess. That's the good kind of problem. Bet the professional basketball player has a line on shoes. As for the on-court aspect, the goal is fitting in with John Wall, Bradley Beal and his other new teammates so the Wizards don't feel the need to shop for someone else. Things I can add is the toughness and the grit. Baker played 92 games during 3 seasons for the Knicks, averaging 3.3 points and 1.8 assists. That's what I'm about. I try bringing that on the defensive end. On the offensive end, just taking good looks and sharing the ball. This team has two all-stars that are really good with the ball in their hands. Just gonna try to play off them and be that player everyone wants to play with. Wizards coach Scott Brooks noted some of Baker's traits based off prior observations and Friday's practice. He's scrappy, physical defender, plays hard, good cutter, said Brooks of Washington's newest player, though not only recent addition. Washington acquired forward Sam Dekker in a three-team trade this month, added Ariza from Phoenix and resigned Chasson Randle. We're just trying to continue to bring guys in that are going to play hard, that are going to compete. Ron fits a lot of things that we need, Brooks said. Baker's slot in the rotation isn't set, but opportunity exists behind Walt Beal and Tomas Satoransky. Washington could use more shooting help. Baker sank 37% of his three-point attempts with the Shockers. That long-distance form hasn't showed yet in the NBA. Other aspects of his game are on speed dial. Try to play hard, share the ball, make the easy plays. Play tough defense. I feel like if you can do those things in the league, there's always a spot for you, Baker said. More Wizards news: the 2-for-1 trade of Kelly Oubre Jr. and Austin Rivers to the Suns for Trevor Ariza has left the Wizards with a shuffled bench and an opening for others to expand their roles. Ariza has been safely placed in the starting lineup, but several stand to gain from the extra minutes that will be going around. Tomas Satoransky, though he was bumped from the starting lineup to the bench by Ariza, may gain as much as anyone. His role has been solidified further, now that he is the team's primary backup guard. Whether he plays mostly at point guard, shooting guard or small forward, the Wizards seem to have little choice but to play Satoransky now. Satoransky understands that with Oubre and Rivers gone, he will have to do more. I think definitely it changes the dynamic of the game, Satoransky told NBC Sports Washington. Those two were our first scorers off the bench, so now we have to adjust. Obviously, there is some bigger responsibility that I will have. We have a lot of players that will have to step up. Satoransky believes the offense is where Oubre and Rivers' absence will be felt. Those two accounted for a combined 20.1 points per game. Even more notable is the 17.2 combined shot attempts they averaged. Only John Wall and Bradley Beal took more than Oubre's 10.5. Satoransky doesn't necessarily plan to make up for the shots, but he understands his responsibility on offense will increase. For me, it's creating more plays for others and also scoring, Satoransky said. He mentioned Markieff Morris, who has been the main scorer on the bench for the past several weeks, and Jeff Green, who will likely move back to the second unit once Otto Porter Jr. returns from a knee injury. Satoransky intends to do whatever he can to set those guys up. The adjusted role for Satoransky comes after an 8-game stint where he was in the starting lineup alongside Wall and Beal. He enjoyed that time, but realizes things are different with Ariza in the mix. Now Trevor is back. I know what he brings to the team, so I know it's more time for me on the bench, Satoransky said. He went on to explain how moving back and forth from the starting lineup to the bench is not a big deal for him. He says that is much more common in Europe, where he played professionally before joining the NBA ranks. In Europe, it doesn't matter. Here, it's a big deal, I would say. You know, when you are starting, you are going to get more run and more opportunities. You're going to have more stretches in the game, so it kind of calms you down, he explained. When you're younger you don't know how to handle that. I feel like I have enough experience in the NBA that I can be effective off the bench. The door appears to be open for Satoransky to expand his role on the bench and he sounds ready for it. More Wizards news.